Şimdi malum haliniz bir işe ayak koymak, amiyane tabirle. Hani çelme takmak, işin böyle olmaması için bir şeyler yapmaya çalışmak, işin olmasını sağlamaktan daha kolay. Ama doğru mu? Değil. Zaten hayat böyle gelişmez. Dünya böyle ilerlemez. Biz böyle bir yere gelemeyiz ki, değil mi? Hani klasiktir, biri çıkmaya çalışırken kazanın içinde hep onu aşağıya doğru çekmeye çalışan adamdan bahsedilir. Hayat böyle olmamalı. Yani aslında şimdiki sunumumuzda da biraz bunun altı çiziliyor ve güvenliğe şöyle bir şey söyleniyor. İşi bloklama, işin olmasını sağla. Peki bunu nasıl yapsın güvenlik? Yani işi bloklamasın ama o işin vücuda gelmesine katkı sağlasın. Bütün uzmanlar bunun için toplandılar, konuşacaklar. Daha ben mi anlatacağım onu yani? Sevgili Gökhan Say yine moderatör. Benim bu konferansın herhalde en fazla çalışan insan. Aslında hepsinde de öyledir ama hakikaten helal olsun. Bütün oturumlarda canla başla moderatörlük yapan üstad yine görevi üstlenmiş. Konuşmacılar kim efendim? Katılımcılar Alan Redford Quest'ten, Ali Seyman Infoblogs'tan, Cem Men Mikrofocus'tan, Cem Kalpakoğlu Conducto'dan ve Esra Çalışkan CyberArk.
Hey guys, welcome. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation for V-Shields. I call you my Avengers. You are coming together and beating the bad guys. Thank you for that. And I don't want to spend any time. I don't want to lose any time because I have so many questions for you. So I want to start my questions. And I'm opening my questions to you all. Please just make all your comments. DevSecOps, it is our big problem. Application security, the problem with security teams, developers, operation guys, unfortunately, it is not only against the hackers or the bad guys. We are trying to come together, as you know. So we have many challenges in terms of the attacks, threats, but also insights for becoming a team. So please let us know what you think about that. What do you think the largest problems and challenges are organizations are facing regarding secure development today? In short, guys, why can't we build secure software?
And in my personal opinion, the shortest answer for this question is because security is hard. And so what I mean that the main problem is security vulnerabilities are just like regular bugs. And those are bugs that they have different effects. So we need to make sure that developers understand this idea and we need to make sure that developers should know that software should work when things go wrong, and some things goes wrong all time. This is the big challenge.
Exactly. Any additions?
Yeah, I may.
Go ahead.
Yes, we may add one important thing is the defining scope and defining vulnerabilities, because we have to clarify our scope and we have to define our weakness, our vulnerabilities. And after that, we are able to protect our infrastructure. Other than we couldn't define how can we protect our own.
Exactly. Please, guys, just take the lead.
All right. So, in my opinion, I when I think about my customer, right? The customer needs, we need to understand the customer first, understand the customer requirements, right? So therefore, we need to drive our security or software that we're developing from the requirements that appeals to our customer. What is our customer experiencing? So the customer experience is very important. We need to understand what are the attackers are really going after, what vulnerabilities they're defining. Because remember, they are as much as an organization as we are, right? So we have to also respond to that kind of organization, which is a cyber attack organization, in my opinion. And we need to understand those requirements and drive our security from that development from that perspective, from that requirement perspective. What are we required to do?
Thank you.
I will say
Also-
secrets.
Exactly.
I will say secrets. As development world, they are using a lot of tools, different CI/CD tools, DevOps tools. So they need also, they need to secure all these tools as well, and they are using a lot of secrets. And with this secrets management, actually, it's main problem, one of the main problem. And of course, I mean, security, different DevOps guys are different, and we are talking different way. We need to find a language. We need to understand each other, and we need to understand risk.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Alan, my friend, anything from you?
So the only thing I'd add to that really is just from an organizational perspective, DevOps is not an exercise in security, it's an exercise in agility. Okay, so it's important to keep that eye on the ball from an organizational point of view. And as already has been alluded to, security is a cultural impact, because security's objective is not agility. Security's objective is security. So there is definitely a clash of culture there. And so it's important to bear that in mind when we're trying to find that balancing act between agility, or put another way, doing more with less and being faster, and security, which typically requires investment to offset the risks presented by trying to, in many cases, run before we can walk, and to avoid falling over and tripping over the unforeseen. They're all continuous processes.
You are bringing up a very important question to my mind, my friends, which is even the topic today. So we are seen as, the security teams are seen as blockers, not enablers. So how can we change that? Is there a way? What do you guys, please? This is an important problem, I believe.
In my personal opinion, again, the software development teams are behaving differently when they see some vulnerabilities. Because what I mean that we need to find a way to work developers and security people together. So the main question is how we can put security into development phases. And again, this is a cultural problem, as Alan said. And I think the better way to approach this problem is how can development team work well with security people. And again, this differs from the organizations. This differs from the domain that the organization has, because sometimes in some organizations, developer has the upper end, but according to the domain, the security might be the main concern.
So would you say that would mean that one of the key challenges of introducing security is actually the friction that security can easily bring to that continuous DevOps cycle? Yeah,
definitely. So the question is, because there is no such thing as perfect security. No one is secure. So it is a question that how much defense mechanism you have. So this is the main idea, and the idea is how we could put all those security mechanism not in the left side, not in the right side, but into all the development life cycle.
In the perfect mix. Yeah, please.
Yes.
What else, guys? What do you think? So with that, there is another problem. I mean, yes, we are trying to get the right mix, but at the moment, we see that the common goal from the security teams is shifting left, right? Putting security in the early stages, of the SDLC. So what do you think of that? What should we do over there? How can we embed security in the early stages of software development?
So
We,
basically,
please
Sam,
go ahead.
go ahead. We're always conflicting together here, but
No, yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's why you first, please.
Or I will start.
so in my opinion, it's about the agile process that Alan mentioned. You know, you can no longer think of security and applications and networking as completely separate things anymore. You have to think about them as integrated solutions, if you will, to you know, go ahead of the cyber attackers, if you will, right? So in my opinion, the agile process is definitely a process that needs to be implemented, part of the software development, and the collaboration between the security team and the development team has to be done very, very closely, because as I think that's how you pronounce your name, mentioned that you know, the application developers need to understand what is happening, and the only information they can get it from is from the security guys, because those are the guys that are facing it every day, right? So that communication and that collaboration needs to be at its best to get the right solution out there. And the challenge is definitely cultural, as has been mentioned before. And we do face this is not in just software development, we face it in many aspects of technology. And the trends and the need that we see today in the technology industry, is that we need to change that culture. And as leaders of different companies, we have to do our job, in my opinion.
Thank you, my friend. Jem, any additions from your side?
Yes, if we put all blocker site or all rules into the table at the first time, and all attendee may agree this part, we don't have to be blocker. Yes, we definitely we need rules, but if the all attendee may know all rules at the day one, we don't have to be blocker this part.
So, you know, let's go a little technology-wise, guys. I mean, looking at the DevOps teams, I'm talking to all these friends in the development teams, and they are highly maturing in DevOps at the moment. I mean, they are implementing CI/CD. They are really getting to that level of maturity, and they are demanding continuous security. How do you define continuous security? You know, are we really, as AppSec industry, are we really ready to provide continuous security today?
Yes, I guess definitely we are ready, because DevOps world is waiting for good integration, like as defined CI/CD pipeline. That's why we, as a all security vendor, able to provide same integration capabilities for them. Not on the last part, for every single part, we're able to provide them the seamless integration for that. And we may think like a developer for integration parts and all other stuff. And this is the way.
I have an addition about that. And as the DevOps shapes development, development community, right now we are better to measure software development processes, but we cannot tell the same thing about security, because measuring security is not hard. That's why companies, organizations are tends to use best of breed solution. And because in the different part of development phase, there are other aspects of security. And as an organization, in order to create a better security program, we need to have a holistic view. And this does not start with the left side. Yes, this does start with the left side, but this is not only up to left side. What I mean that to have a holistic security view, we need to have a better integration between the security products, and that's why actually there are new security concepts we have.
What is that, Cenk? I mean, please be specific, my friend, because
Yes,
I mean, we need to protect the runtime. That is also important. Also in the left side, yes, I totally agree. Even not only the best of breed products, but also the open source products that they have to use. And there is too much complexity. We are far away from agility that I'm hearing from many customers out there, and also the time pressure that we are adding with all these scans coming from everywhere, false positives coming from everywhere, and they're not feeling good. I hear them, I empathize them.
And yes, the new concept that we are talking about is the application security orchestration correlation. Actually, this is our product does. This is what our product does. And because, again, from left to right or from right to left, there are different parts that different security products needs to get in. And this is not even the end, because tools are just one part of the security. And there's also the human part. There's also logical errors, because in what I believe that all bugs could be a security vulnerabilities if you try hard enough. So that's why bigger picture view and holistic view will be always needed as the new concepts, new security tools comes in this field.
Jim, I know that Micro Focus is holding a large portfolio of DevSecOps, AppSec solutions, my friend, and you have good integration in between them. Please add some value to this problem.
Yes, I can add some important point in there. Yes, developers is continuous working with different challenge. That's why we cannot all vulnerable results at the last day. They have to integrate with the security teams at the same time. That's why they want to show the result at the day one. That's why we providing them some either plugins in the development areas. At the same time, they're able to show some results by own. Of course, the release date, they more ready for release date. We cannot force them to solve everything on the release date or this period. That's why we can tell that the developer is not alone in the security part, and this is not on the bug tracker. At the same time, they are part of the all securities world.
So, of course, it is not only those scans that we have to make, guys. I mean, and the mistakes in the codes, we have the secrets, and there is a huge problem also over there, I believe. The human mistakes are also about the secrets management. What would you say in that respect, if we are talking about the right mix in the left and right, but even in the left, if it is not only about the tests that we are going to make, how can we help our customers with that?
You can, you know, you definitely need, you know, a life cycle for your development, right? So you have to go through that life cycle. But basically, you know, in the past, we used to develop software, and you know, depending on what kind of software you're developing and for what purpose you're doing it, you want to push that software out as soon as possible, right? So, and then a lot of organizations choose to, for example, to push the software when it's not perfect, right? When it's not perfect. And then, of course, that creates some vulnerabilities, but we need, developers need to realize that there's no such thing as perfect software, okay? And security teams need to realize that there's no such thing as perfect security. And so therefore the software development cycle needs to happen, and the agility part needs to happen. But as we see software developed today, we can figure out that more and more of that software is being developed in the form of microservices. And why are we doing that? We're doing that to solve support problems, to solve reacting to vulnerabilities very quickly. So if I'm developing a software in a microservice manner or in a containerized manner, the dependencies are much, much less. If I have to fix a certain aspect or a certain vulnerability in that software. And that is becoming more and more important, not for any type of application, whether it's a networking application or it's a banking application, whatever application you can think about, that is becoming a lot more important nowadays, because the number of attacks are happening a whole lot more. And the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis, regardless of what application we're talking about, we have to respond to a lot more than we usually did in the past. So reacting to those type of vulnerabilities becomes essential, and it's not a matter of when you're going to be attacked. Is that what matters? Is that how you're going to react to that attack and how quickly you can solve that problem. So that's important. And then the tools that you're using to solve that problem. What tools have been provided and developed for you and put in front of you to solve those problems very, very quickly? Because at the end of the day, if you don't solve the problem, you're going to have some cost damage associated with that. So that's, to me, that's really where we're going to be looking at from a software development perspective, and that's what is the focus is on by vendors like ourselves.
Esra, I would like to ask the very same question to you. I mean, regarding secrets management, I know that CyberArk is helping our customers a lot. What do you think in that respect?
Yes, actually many enterprises adapting DevOps methodologies, even they are undergoing complete digital transformation. They have at least some legacy environment, on-premises infrastructure. I'd like to give an example here. While a DevOps team may provide access legacy customer database, packing into container security, underlying database application running on-premise infrastructure, and also needs to be secure DevOps environment as well. So existing environment and DevOps environment needs to be secured together. Of course, you asked me about secret management, but I'd like to start from here. So at the end of the day, we need to have unified solution for our privilege accounts, for our DevOps environment, for our secrets. One of the main challenges about DevOps world actually is secrets and microservice containers. So we need to have unified solution for all of those solutions and on-premise, hybrid, or cloud. We also talking about different security solutions or not using security for enough. But there is no single place to make our DevOps environment secure, or there is no single tool also to make it secure. However, when we are looking at the targeted attacks, protecting secrets probably most important one. When we look at the anatomy of targeted attacks, we see that it's like privilege accounts. Secrets are being using for attackers, and also with secrets, credentials, access keys, administrator credentials, attackers can reach wherever they want. So, I mean, secret management is very important, and we need to manage the secret in unified way.
Thank you, Esra. Ellen, you know, when we come to this right mix, my friend, as we are talking left, right, infrastructure, runtime, or getting in the SDLC, making the scans, there is the human side, the access side. What do you think? How does one identity add value over here?
DevOps is part of an organizational's strategy, okay? But it's also part of the security landscape. I find that in conversations with customers, it really helps them, and it may help the viewers to think in terms of the fundamentals of people, process, and technology. All my colleagues on this call have touched areas of that. When you put it in that context, it allows you to conceptualize standards in a much more rational fashion. People, for example, we've touched on education a number of times. Educating developers, educating operations, security helps with that, but security needs to find a way to do that in a way that doesn't introduce friction. Okay. Same with the processes. DevOps is a process by which we take code through to testing and production. Reality is that that is a challenge that focuses heavily on data, secrets management, and lots of other areas and threads that you could pull. How many times have you deployed something to production and found that there was a bug that you could not find without deploying it into production because your pre-prod environment doesn't represent production? That's normal, okay? That's a normal scenario. And then of course, on the technology side of things, your developers are going to be using tools, okay? Jenkins, pick one out of the air, HashiCorp, all sorts of other things, okay? And there's also secrets technologies out there, Kubernetes, for example, that are all being leveraged. If security can find a way, which we do, to introduce security at the people, process, and technology levels without introducing friction to the DevOps processes, then that's a very realistic way to introduce security to an agile initiative without removing the money margin that's being made from the agility initiative in the first place. So I think there's a bigger picture there.
Yep. So what will be the evolution, guys, of secure coding? I mean, where do you see the AppSec industry in the next 5 to 10 years? Where are we going? Are we improving well? What do you think?
Definitely security tools are getting better and better. And as the development technology and methodologies changes, we are definitely see more exciting technologies. However, what I most find exciting is the open source community powered technologies and community powered products. And this is what I see. I believe that in near future, in next 5 years, open source or community powered products, tools will be even getting better and better and better.
So you say that there will be more complexity for you to solve, my friend. I hear that. I understand.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay, what else, guys?
I think automation will have a strong play here. There are DevOps pipelines for robotic process automation. Okay, there are lots of us out there leveraging investment in artificial intelligence. There are hackers using AI. There was a recent Trend Micro report where a AI was used to execute a social engineering attack, pose as a CEO, respond dynamically over the phone. They defrauded $300,000. It's happening. That was actually last year. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a sharp uptake in automation. We're going to see a sharp uptake in the use of automation and AI in the DevOps pipeline, both in being produced by DevOps strategies and also taking an active role in the DevOps strategy. And I think the biggest challenge we're going to have is how we take the concepts that we use today, translate them into that new world around identity, around governance, around ownership, around managing the privileges. The rate at which a robot can be created and destroyed is far faster than employees, thankfully, being an employee myself. I'm an HR record. There are bots that are not HR records, and thousands are created and destroyed per second. So I think from my perspective and from where we observe the market, that's very much the 5 to 10 year vision that I can see.
Guys, thank you very much. It was great to speak to you. There is a lot to do. And yes, you are adding big value for sure. We have to do more and more. That's another must, right? Thank you for your support. Thank you guys. Take care.